3:15.
All right. Everybody ready?
We're ready.
All right, let's do this thing. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Local Lens, Lawrenceville Unfiltered. My name is Louie Campbell, and you, sir?
Dwayne Volkman.
And
Kelly Lewis.
Kelly Lewis. That's a familiar name in Lawrenceville.
Yes, it is.
So, you were successfully elected to the City Council of Lawrenceville in the last municipal election.
I was.
And, we just met each other actually during the campaign season and found that we were about 90% like-minded.
Sure.
Nobody agrees 100% on anything because that would be boring.
Right, right.
But about 90% like-minded. We pulled for a lot of the same initiatives in town, so we worked together to help each other get elected.
Yes.
You were successful. I was not. And it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's right.
And that would have been April 25.
April 1st, April Fool's Day.
Yeah. And then Ryan, too, he was part of our group.
Ryan Curtis was part of our group.
And Paul.
That's actually what brought us together. And Paul Waller, wonderful guy.
Yes, wonderful guy.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Ryan, he suffered a pretty large defeat. Mayor Courtney, I'm sorry, Ryan. Mayor Courtney whooped him.
Yeah.
Mayor Courtney got a decisive victory in the election. And you were in the room election night at the courthouse whenever the results were announced. Do you remember, as soon as they announced that Mayor Courtney had won, what I did?
I don't know. Remind me.
I was the first person to reach across and congratulate and shake the mayor's hand.
You did. That's right.
Yep.
You did.
And I say that because it's funny because so many people in the community are saying that I'm trying to do everything I can to undermine the mayor. And initially my true desire was to have a good working relationship with the mayor and the members of the council. I lost to Teresa Green, but I never had a bad word to say about Teresa Green. I wanted to work with her.
Sure.
So anyway, the purpose of the meeting, our podcast today, is we've decided recently that we're going to start doing recaps of council meetings. So we're going to go through the last two meetings.
Okay.
And we're going to recap them. And we're also going to talk a little bit about your time on the council and some of the things that you've experienced here in Lawrenceville. Okay.
Before we get into that too much yet, I want to play off a little bit about what you just said.
Sure.
We all accepted. I mean, Kelly, you won. Louie, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
The guy I was supporting didn't win for mayor. I was supporting you, but we accepted the results of that election.
Yes.
Okay. There are people out there that they're only. I won't say maybe they're only. One of their main oppositions to us is that they feel like we're bitter over the election.
They've called us sore losers.
Yeah. To those people, I encourage you to go back and look at the facts. You haven't seen us say some of the negative things about people's personality that's been said about us.
Yeah.
We've been vocal, and we've been maybe not used the type of delivery that people would like to see about our opposition to some of the things that have been happening lately, such as how the EPA violations are being handled, a deep dive into the EPA reports. We've done that deep dive, and we have specific issues that we're against. It's not against anyone personally, but the other side, it seems like that's what they bring to the table a lot, are personal accusations and things that just aren't true. So to that end, I want to say this. The election was in April. Mm-hmm. I was sick in April. I couldn't make it to that April meeting, the city council meeting, but I made it to the May meeting, and I made it to the June meeting. The first time I began speaking up about mostly the EPA issues was in June.
It was July.
June or July, okay?
July, yeah.
But the incident happened in April, and there was a set of community members who were coming to those meetings and voicing their complaints, and I noticed no one was talking to them. No one would go talk to them after the meeting. No one would talk to them during the meeting. So it was either June or July that I, after hearing it for 2 or 3 months straight, I decided I was going to take the initiative, go talk to these people. And I went and talked to them outside City Hall afterwards, and I wanted to see if there's anything there that I needed to be involved with.
Sure.
And after listening to them and looking at the reports, which I would challenge any council member to say or to show that they've looked at this stuff as deep as I have, and you've looked at it even deeper, okay? That's when I got involved. So those rumors about being a sore loser about the election, I'm dispelling them right now. It has to do with the way some of these citizens have been treated and,
Yes.
and not taken care of.
Yeah.
And I'm not even in their ward. And they
Right.
tell me that their representatives from their ward have not
Reached
talked to
out.
them. Yeah, have not reached out to them to the extent that I have. One of them hasn't at all, and the other one has slightly, but to not to the degree that that I have. So, and by the way, neither Louie nor I got the EPA involved, which really shouldn't matter. It's when the EPA results came to our attention that we got involved. EPA had already been here and gone. There were already reports out there.
Right.
We got the reports, read them, were appalled at what was going on according to the EPA, and that's how we got involved. And that's from the April.
And
okay?
let me add also, we didn't start digging for the EPA reports because, here's dirt that we can use against the mayor and Mr. Tipsword. It was because of we have a puppy dog out here that's whining. So it was because residents reached out to us and asked for our help.
Yeah.
And that's why we started reviewing. We started reviewing documents that these residents provided to us that were from the EPA.
Exactly. I didn't even go seeking the documents from the EPA.
Yeah.
That's the April incident, and I think there was one in July with another resident. So it was at least a few months after the April, and it might have been the July meeting that I perked up and started listening.
It was early August was when the next rain happened, and that resident had the flooding.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I will say this too.
Sure.
I will say this too about the September inspection, the inspection of the actual plant. I wasn't even aware that was going on, and I've had the mayor tell me to my face that he knows I'm not the one that contacted the EPA to have the plant inspected.
Yeah, I was informed by a private citizen who reached out to me on Facebook and asked me if I knew about the inspection that was happening at the wastewater plant.
And I believe you brought it to my attention.
I had no idea about it, so we had to FOIA request the results of that inspection to get it.
So that argument, which even if it were true, that argument doesn't hold water anyway, because lo and behold, there are issues to be found.
I want to clarify something too. We're saying the other side. I don't want to think that exactly that the mayor, and maybe he is, the mayor and the council members that are opposed to us are the ones saying that we're sore losers, but a lot of their supporters are the ones saying this.
Yeah, I'm not saying anyone that has that view, it's a wrong view.
Yeah.
So again, September, we didn't even know that till after the EPA had been down.
Kelly, you had a question.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So how involved were the Lawrenceville residents before all of this, before the April meeting, before I got elected? I mean, what was it like before? Were there people coming to the meetings or not so much? And did they ever talk or speak up?
Prior to the beginning of the election season, which would have been late 24, early 25,
Fall.
it would be typical for us to have no one at the meetings.
That's what I was wondering.
I mean, no one, no citizen. We'd have a department head there.
Right.
Actually, two department heads, but no one would come.
Yeah.
And then we started getting into the
Election.
pushing for golf carts, pushing for citywide cleanup. And let me address that real quick and get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Citywide cleanup. Kelly was for that. I was for that. The entire rest of the council initially was against it. They were also against golf carts.
Right.
The mayor told me that I would never get golf carts in this town. This is before I even met you.
Yeah.
This discussion went back years.
I remember you saying that.
He was quoted as saying on Waco, if people wanted to drive golf carts, they need to go to the country club.
Yeah.
So
you have people like Kelly and I and Louie and the citizens that came to meetings to thank for getting citywide cleanup. I know that's a big deal. Golf carts, maybe not such a big deal, but we should have the choice.
Sure.
Every other community around us does, and we finally got them on board. But a quick rundown of citywide cleanup. So I was pushing that through emails with the mayor and other people, and the mayor decided to go ahead and call a meeting to talk about citywide cleanup. Citywide cleanup, to me, I think sanitation committee should be involved in something like that. I mean, after all, it has to do with sanitation. But he didn't call my subcommittee meeting or subcommittee to that meeting. He called the legislative committee, I believe, or the committee that handles contracts. And I responded when I got that email with, hey, this has to do with sanitation. What about my committee? He says, okay, your committee can come too. I brought with me a handful of residents at a subcommittee meeting at like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday or something, or Wednesday, something like that. The other committee was already in there and seated. I walk in the door and I immediately, I'm not going to name this person, but if you watch our council meetings, you might be able to figure out who it is. As soon as I walk in the door, I get an obvious mean mugging stare down kind of thing. I don't pay attention to it at first. It continued for several minutes. I addressed it and it stopped. But you could tell that was the attitude that that other committee had, at least that member of the other committee. Ron Waldrop was the head of the committee. As soon as we sat down, and unfortunately these meetings weren't broadcast like this at the time. Thank goodness that you started doing that, Louie, because we've had to refer back to them at times. Anyhow, so I sit down. As soon as I sit down, Mr. Waldrop says, our contract with Republic, who is a trash pickup provider, doesn't end until 2027, so there's really not much we can do until that contract ends. And I said, well, hang on, wait a minute. That doesn't mean that we can't do things in addition to the contract.
Right.
Some of the citizens that I brought with me, sitting in the crowd, they agreed. Long story short, before that meeting was over, they agreed to look further into getting citywide cleanup, and I think a month or two after that, we took the vote to do it. But their initial response was, and this is for those of you that are kind of maybe on the fence as to whether or not to support what Louie and I are trying to do and what Kelly's done in the past. Look at the facts. Look at what we've accomplished. Look at how people are addressing us versus how we're addressing them. You may not agree with the format that I come forward with at some of these meetings, but my goodness, I've been battling some of these people for a year now, and it does get a little frustrating. And at some point, the truth, when you continue to speak the truth and you're met with either hypocrisy or untruth, it gets a little frustrating. Anyway, point is, that committee was ready to dismiss that meeting right then and there. Nothing we can do till 2027. That some of them were packing up their stuff and getting ready to stand up. And I said, wait a minute, we need to sit down and talk about doing this. And we ended up getting it. So it's things like that people may not know behind the scenes. There were citizens there. Maybe they'll speak up and maybe they can confirm what I'm saying. So I just want to get that out there.
Sure.
I believe our motives are pure.
Absolutely. And anybody who's met with us, we actually had a young lady, I'm not going to name her name, but who was she was pretty strongly opposed to how things happened at the special meeting on February the 4th. And then we invited her to have a sit down with us. We actually sat down in this room off camera. That
special meeting was for the mayor to announce his candidate to replace
Kelly. Correct. We'll get into all that. But she sat down with you and I for 2.5 hours. We went over all of the information, and we provided receipts for everything that we were claiming. And she walked away from the meeting understanding that we're coming into this, seemingly justified for our opinions and our actions, and believing that we have the citizens' best interest at heart. So let's get into the purpose of our broadcast today, though. So. We wanted to go over the special meeting, starting with the special meeting on February the 4th, where it was called on the 2nd. They gave the proper 48-hour notice. The mayor has selected his appointee for the city council to replace Kelly. And during that meeting, it was brought to the attention of the council that Kelly's resignation did not fully comply with city ordinance. And shame on you, Kelly.
I know.
You forgot
it's all my fault.
You forgot to get it notarized. But
it wasn't your responsibility.
No,
I
didn't know. Sorry, I'll just say.
But even if it wasn't your responsibility, that's the responsibility of the mayor.
It was the mayor and the clerks. That's their responsibility to do that. So, and You know, the mayor has said so many times, I'm going to follow the ordinance, I'm going to follow the ordinance. Well, the ordinance in this situation is that your resignation needs to be in writing, signed, and notarized.
And it's in the ordinance.
Outside of that, there are only a couple other ways to have your seat vacated. One, with a judge's order. A judge can order your seat vacated because you don't meet the criteria. Or the council can take a vote to vacate the seat because you don't meet the criteria or the eligibility requirements.
Gotcha.
And that's what finally happened. And I remember during the February 4th meeting, it was speculated that the council did take a vote after you read your resignation, and they did not. First, and there's a couple things here.
It wasn't on the agenda.
It wasn't on the agenda, so they could not have taken a vote. They couldn't have taken action on it. But also, I know Teresa Green said yes, we took a vote, but I reviewed the recording, which is on our YouTube channel, and there was no vote. So your seat was not properly vacated until the regular council meeting, which occurred on February 12th. So you were still legally the sitting alderman for Ward 1 on the city council until February 12th.
Okay.
The problem with trying to appoint someone to fill that seat while you were still legally the sitting council member is that what if you had chosen to relocate right back to Ward 1 in Lawrenceville and resume your duties as city council member?
Right.
You have a legal right to do that up until that point. What if they had seated someone, even if they had seated our guy, I say our guy, but the guy
someone we supported.
Someone we supported.
Someone with decades of experience of running a
But if they had seated him, Mr. Bruff, and then someone from Ward 1 says, wait a minute, why is this guy voting on my behalf? I elected Kelly. They could have sued the city for not properly following procedure.
Wow.
So tying the city up in litigation, which is costing every one of us money because we have to pay Mr. Neal to represent the city.
So they got lucky.
But they got to do things the right way. And there's a reason for it, because doing things the wrong way costs extra money.
Sure.
And it's our money they're spending for that. So anyway, the mayor did put forward an appointee for the seat. It turns out, so there was rumor that the mayor was going to appoint someone who is a 3-time convicted felon. From what I understand, seemingly a nice guy. People make mistakes, and I can forgive mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes.
Sure.
Every sinner has a future, and every saint has a past. I believe that. But unfortunately, according to Illinois law, and in my understanding, ever since the Illinois Constitution of 1970, it has been unlawful for a convicted felon to hold the seat of alderman or mayor. So it's curious that our city attorney claimed to not know that. Yeah, because I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but he doesn't seem like he's a whole lot older than me. I'm 50. I was born in 1976. And this law's been on the books 6 years prior to my birth. I believe he probably set for the bar after the 1970 Illinois Constitution was ratified. So anyway, this gentleman was outed at the council meeting. But we have our super secret Monday night meetings of citizens.
Is this super secret too?
The super secret, yeah. They're super secret.
Yeah.
And we had discussed that this individual had been rumored to be the mayor's choice for council.
Wow.
So we did our due diligence, and we got the copy of the statute from the state of Illinois. We got copies of information about the convictions. On the off chance that the mayor went forward with this choice, we had no belief. We had let's not no idea. We did not believe that the mayor was going to do this.
Right.
And especially, let me say this: we're intentionally not mentioning that person's name because it's not about him.
Right.
And again, I happened to meet him after not seeing him for years, and we grew up near one another actually, so I know who this gentleman is. My encounter with him the next night was actually a good encounter, but it's not about him. It's about following the law. And in the ordinance, it says that you have to be eligible to hold that seat. Now, you might have to do a little bit more in-depth digging to find out what that eligibility is,
Yeah.
but that's part of the ordinance. So if the mayor's reading the ordinances, which I don't know if he's even reading the ordinances, or if he's getting a legal opinion, I don't know, that leads you to believe maybe he's not doing either. So again, it has nothing to do with the individual.
Nothing to do with the
It has to do
individual.
with following the law.
Right.
And I did not believe, I came prepared to vote against anyone. I had notes for another gentleman who didn't have a felony, who was otherwise a great candidate, but there was one that was the best candidate. And that's the point we're trying to make here. The mayor didn't choose, in our opinion, the best candidate. Our city is we're having a lot of violations from the EPA. We're having a lot of issues with the EPA. I mean,
Right.
with our sewer plant. We've had violations with the water plant. We've had close to 75 violations so far, and some of them are still ongoing. Why wouldn't you want someone on the council that knows all about this? I would. My thought is, it might have something to do with the fact that you and I talked to Mr. Bruff only twice. I'd met the man only twice. First time was just to talk about the EPA stuff.
I've talked to him more now. He's a friend.
But I personally want to talk to him twice, and only once after after Kelly was vacating her seat. The first time I talked to him, you were still on the council.
Yeah, I talked to him a lot. He's a friend. He is a friend of mine. But I will say, he is a friend who strongly disagrees with me on a lot of things politically. So,
But he did go on
but we
channel.
respect one another.
Sure.
He did go on Channel 10 News, and he had an interview, and he did use words like cover up and incompetency in that interview. So you couple that with his association
With you guys.
with us. Could that? I just proposed the question. Could that be why the mayor didn't want him on there?
I believe so. The other individual that put his name forth was, a longtime resident of Lawrence County. Went to high school with his older brother. I believe his dad used to be the chief of police in Bridgeport. He was at least a police officer in Bridgeport back when I was a little boy. So he's got strong ties to the community.
Sure.
And he would have been an excellent choice to replace you on the council. But Dwayne was prepared to vote against him as well.
And I told him that to his
Yeah.
face in a nice. We had a very cordial conversation. Purely by chance, I ran into him.
And we
I
believed he
told-
was going to be the choice.
I did, and I said, that'd be great if you are, but if you are, just out of principle, I want you to know I'm going to vote against you because I believe Matt Bruff is the better person, and his
better
response
choice.
was
The better choice.
Better
yeah.
choice.
The better
Not
choice,
the better person,
yes.
better choice, yeah.
qualified,
Better qualified, yeah.
Yeah, let me clarify that. But and the man, what I so much respected about Mr. Lawson is he agreed. He said, "Yeah, Matt Bruff is a great candidate."
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
So
And that's what we want. We wanted the best choice, and you were willing to vote against the second best. And we honestly believed that Matt Lawson was going to be the choice. And then we showed up at the meeting and saw that the other individual with the felonies was
there.
present, and I was shocked. I was like, wow, the mayor's actually going to do this. It was just a rumor. And it's funny because we've been chided in public. We've been insulted in public heavily for not heading this off at the pass on a rumor. So the other day, you reached out to the mayor about a rumor that you heard that the mayor was putting undue pressure on
you're not aware of this yet.
No, what?
undue pressure on city workers to attend the city council meeting. So you contacted the mayor about this rumor, and again, because we've been publicly drugged through the mud for not addressing a prior rumor, so you decided, okay, here's another rumor, I'm going to contact the mayor about this. And what was his response?
Did you go there or did you call him?
I sent him an email. It was in writing that I've heard this rumor, and I told him I wasn't going to make an issue of it at this point. I just wanted him to be aware of it, and if he felt so inclined to do something about it, here's the information. And I didn't give him any names. I'm not going to say who I heard the rumor from, but his response was, I think the first line was something along the lines of, "Here at City Hall, we don't operate on rumor, we operate on fact." And he went on to say that he had not placed any any pressure on anyone to attend a meeting, and I respectfully responded and said, hey, I just addressed the rumor because
Right.
I was told I was like you said,
Differently.
chided a little bit in the past for not addressing a rumor.
Yep.
So I did, and I said, if that's the case, great. If it's not the case, it would be inappropriate, and I would expect that to stop. So that's
So-
essentially.
This mayor that the other side strongly supports, he also doesn't like to deal in rumor. So when we didn't head off at the pass a rumor about the 3-time convicted felon being the possible appointee to replace you,
Right.
we were the bad guy. So operating under the same principle of we don't deal in rumors,
Yeah.
Exactly.
we're the bad guy. So
Can you see how
thought that,
frustrating this
I thought that was
is?
interesting. So
It's like pulling your hair out.
Yeah.
your thoughts? You had ostensibly resigned from the city council.
Yes.
Okay, it turns out it wasn't an official resignation.
Sure.
Shame on you.
That's twice he's done that now.
I just like having fun with you. You're my
I
friend. What do you think about the mayor's choice to replace you?
I don't know him. I don't know of him. I would think that he would choose someone more qualified and know the ordinance ahead of time, just to make sure he has all his T's crossed and his I's dotted. And I think it's a very important assignment, especially in my ward, because it seemed to be a lot of things going on in my ward that the residents really needed my help and things. So I don't know. I was kind of shocked to hear what
Yeah.
went down.
And not to harp on the other individual, who's again by all accounts is a
Right.
wonderful man.
He's a nice
Just
guy.
look at Matt Bruff's qualificacations.
Yeah.
My gosh, they're
Well, you made a good point at the council meeting that if you had been living in that ward and had applied for the empty seat, that Matt Bruff is supremely more qualified than you to have that position.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, Matt Lawson, because of his work in the city, and you guys have similar background in working in corrections and law enforcement. But he worked for the city. He was more qualified as well.
Yeah.
You know, but-
I said I would have picked either one of these men over me, as
Yeah.
a matter of fact.
And me, because I probably wasn't as qualified
Well, you-
as
Well,
I know I wasn't as qualified as those gentlemen. Probably.
And you haven't been in town as long as any of us, but
No.
still, you won an election, so that's different.
Right.
But again, if I was put up against these guys, I would have expected them to have been chosen over me. Matt Lawson, been here for 23 years. He's been on the fire department for 17 years, or he did serve. I don't know if he still currently is. Fire department for 17 years. Lawrence Allison, 11 years at Correctional Center. He's a sergeant there now. He was actually employed, like you said, by the city at one point, and he was with the sheriff's department. He's also active in youth mentorships and athletics. And then you got Matt Bruff.
That's funny. They're both Matts, aren't they?
yeah.
Matt
Both
Bruff,
really nice guys too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruff started his career in wastewater treatment plant back in 2002
Here?
in Bicknell.
Oh, in Bicknell.
In Bicknell, and let's see, he got on with the Bicknell Fire Department in 2002 and stayed until 2018. He retired as a captain there. He has all kinds of certifications: technical rescue, emergency medical responder, fire officer strategies and tactics, and hazardous materials technician. He was actually on the mayoral appointment for Knox County area
Really?
Planning Commission for 2 years. Yeah. So he has some experience in dealing with city councils and with the
Right,
mayor.
right.
With a mayor. He's currently employed by the Department of Defense at Crane Naval Base since 2018 as wastewater shift operator.
Dang.
Exactly the kind of thing he's in the field of the problems that we're currently experiencing.
Right.
He's also currently a wastewater superintendent at Edwardsport, and he's a pre-treatment coordinator for Bruceville.
How does he do all
Well,
that?
and he's also
Do what?
Does he's doing
He's
Yeah.
doing all that right now.
he works a lot.
And
yeah.
and the
Wow.
mayor said the reason he didn't choose him is he wanted someone who lived in Lawrenceville longer. Now, admittedly, Matt hadn't been here for, what, a couple of years?
I don't know how long he's lived in town.
But I don't see, I would think any reasonable person would look at this and say, that overrides that I want someone that's here. Let's not even talk about the felonies. Let's talk about anybody else that's been here longer than him that doesn't have those qualifications. Matt Lawson, for example, again, wonderful man. I don't understand. I think I know why he didn't pick him, but you all will have to make up your mind as to how you feel about that.
Yeah. It was troubling for sure that he chose the way he chose. Again, nothing against the individual, but he was ineligible due to the felonies. The mayor should have researched that, done his due diligence. Not only that, but the ordinance requires. It's very much like the president choosing a department secretary.
Right.
The president does it with the advice and consent of the Senate. So appointing a council member, the wording in the ordinance is with the advice and consent of the council. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is in the ordinance. So when the mayor says he will follow the ordinance, then that means he needs to seek the advice and the consent of
He
the
is
council.
not following the ordinance.
Before actually having the vote, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And to that end, let me say this. At the last meeting, if you watched my spiel on all this and more was about the last 22 minutes of our last week's meeting.
You talked for 22 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? He doesn't talk that much.
I cut it short, Kelly. I had so much more I wanted to say, but I didn't out of respect for time.
Cracking me up.
Yeah. But listen to this, Kelly.
Okay.
So I asked the council members if any of them had received these were basically applications or listings
Okay.
of the two Matt's
Okay.
qualifications.
Alrighty. And where's that from?
I got Matt Bruff's from Matt Bruff.
Okay.
Well, from Matt Bruff through you. But this one here from Matt Lawson, it's addressed on December 18th. Honorable members of the Lawrenceville City Council. Do you know no one on the council got this? The mayor had it and didn't send it to anyone to review.
Oh, wow.
So the mayor was asking us to vote for someone. Forget about whether he's qualified or not. He wanted us to vote for someone when we didn't have all the facts on everyone. I didn't have anything on his candidate. I didn't have anything. The only thing I had was what the guys sent me.
What did he actually apply for the position?
No, he did not. The mayor reached out to him. The mayor reached out
No, wait a
to
minute.
him.
Let's be clear. Which one are you asking
The
about?
one that,
That he chose?
Yeah.
yes.
No, and that's another thing. You had two people here that sent in, short little resumes.
Right.
Yet the mayor still went looking for other people.
He went actively looking for someone.
And he admitted that
He
on
admitted
the-
that on camera on the February 12th council meeting that he reached out to the individual instead of otherwise.
So if the mayor's following the ordinance to seek out the advice and consent of the council, why didn't he tell us about all the people that were interested, and why didn't he give us these two resumes from these
Sure.
two gentlemen? No one on the council got this. To me, that's appalling. And,
And one of
again,
those-
you may not like how I talk about it and how I bring it up, but that is frustrating and appalling,
And
and
one
it's
of those-
egregious, and he should have done it.
One of those is addressed to
That's what I said,
the
yeah,
members
one-
of the city council.
Yeah.
Matt Lawson says, honorable members of the Lawrenceville City Council.
Yeah.
And by the way, I didn't get either one of these
Till after the fact?
till after the fact. I had read the one Matt's on the internet, but that's not where I should be going to get it. And one of the council members, Mrs. Brewer, brought up that it was there on the internet, and that's fine. But we shouldn't be we shouldn't have to go looking for it on the internet. The mayor had it, and he should have given it to us. Matter of fact, this one here, I believe, I'm not sure when Matt Bruff sent this to the mayor, but the one from Matt Lawson was December 18th, and the mayor didn't see fit. That would leave a reasonable person to think that the mayor didn't want us to know the information. That is that a reasonable assumption?
I would think so. I'm just going to look up here, see if I can find that email from Matt Bruff.
Well, it was well before the meeting, and again, we didn't get it. Now, if you were still on the council at the time, which officially you
was.
were, but yeah, officially you were, but you didn't know it.
Right.
Wouldn't you be a little bit upset? But none of the council members seem to be upset. Yeah, they read two of them read off a statement at the end of the meeting saying that we all should work together. And to their credit, they mentioned all. They didn't specifically say me and Louie, but I feel like a lot of their comments were directed at us.
Matt Bruff sent his email to David Courtney on Friday, December the 12th, the day after you read your resignation.
Wow.
Anyway, so these other two individuals, they read off their statement, not little statement, their statement. It was short in comparison to mine. That's what I meant by little.
They all are.
So they read their statement, but I got to say, some of it I agree with, some of it I believe, with all due respect, is disingenuous. And here's one example of why I think is disingenuous. Why wasn't I informed of this? I'm supposed to take a vote on something that I don't have all the information on,
Right.
and every one of those council members claim they didn't have their information. Now, the mayor's choice for the position, I don't know if I even told you this or not.
What?
He told me the next night after that meeting where he was not allowed to sit on the council, and he told me that I could use this at the meeting. I asked his permission. He gave it to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I witnessed that conversation, by the way, because
You
I was on
It was
speakerphone
on
with them.
speakerphone, yeah. He told me that the mayor told him, this is the mayor talking to his candidate,
Yeah.
just so you know, I'm going to consult with all the city council members about you except for Mr. Volkman.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, just let that sink in, everyone.
Woo.
That's where I believe some of it's either disingenuous or it's misinformed to make an accusation that we're not trying to work with everyone.
Right.
I've invited a council member to come to our Monday night meetings. We can have two council members at once there.
You attended one or two?
Yeah,
of
you
them?
were there.
Yeah, one or two.
Yeah. And
They were super secretive, though.
weren't they?
So-
Yeah.
I mean, didn't we tell everyone when they came in they had to swear not to tell you anything?
Yeah, it was a blood
No,
oath.
it was just the opposite.
was a blood
Get
oath,
as many
yeah.
people involved as you
Yeah,
can.
exactly.
So I've invited one personally to come on to these meetings.
Yeah.
He says, I want nothing to do with them.
Oh gosh.
Any of you all council members are welcome to come. Again, we can only have one at a time.
Right.
But come and meet these people. These are good people. And we
Yeah.
don't just talk about the EPA. We don't just talk about, whether or not we need citywide pickup or time clocks for employees. Or, we talk about a variety of things.
Right.
A couple of us are talking about starting a citizen trash pickup program when the
Nice.
weather
Yep.
breaks.
Yep.
We talk about things to improve the cities.
Yeah.
That's another thing I want to dispel. For you people out there who think that we are not coming up with solutions, you're dead wrong, okay?
Dead wrong.
Come to the meetings and you'll see.
Yeah, well, some of the things. So I have advocated from the beginning for live streaming of the meetings.
Yes.
And one of the main objections raised by a member of the council was the cost. Okay, so I've done some due diligence and found ways to offset the cost as well.
Nice.
So we could do this at a way so that the city doesn't have to put out any extra money
Really?
to do this. Absolutely, there is money available through AARP.
Gotcha.
AARP has grant money available to provide for the purchase of the broadcast equipment, which is not terribly. I've sourced it less than $4,000 to purchase it. AARP has money available for it because it serves the elderly community who are infirm or not able to get out of their homes.
Okay, gotcha. Are there any grants or anything
That would be an AARP grant.
That
yeah.
is a grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
There's
you two are
also.
probably too young to know who they are. I'm not.
I'm 50 now.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm
am-
a Medicare sales agent.
Well, that's true.
Yes, yes,
But I mean,
yes.
being a member of them.
Yes.
So
It's.
I'm in that age group.
I started being solicited by them whenever I turned like 25.
I know.
Oh, really?
I know.
Okay.
I know. Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Anyway, there's also funding available through our local broadcast cable, our cable company,
Nice.
that the city can, and this is a tax. So this will be
right.
less popular,
Right.
but they can, and I can't. I looked it up months ago, so I don't know the exact number, but they can add, I think, up to $1.35 per month per cable subscriber within the municipality.
Okay.
That helps fund the purchase and maintenance of the broadcast equipment and the network, and that they can even set a sunset date on that, so that they only tax it for so long and then it shuts off or it reduces. So there are ways to pay for it.
Right. Right.
But even setting
great.
those aside, Even if we had to pay for it, what was it like? A one-time cost of like?
One-time cost about $4,000,
$4,000.
and the money that Mr. Goins suggested at the council was going to cost like $2,100 a year to have a union employee of the city to
Someone on the
to do
council
it.
could offer.
But here's the thing: every member of the city council, the mayor, and the city clerk, and the city treasurer are all salary capped by ordinance. Just because you do a little bit extra by clicking a button twice during a meeting,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. Click, click. You can't be paid more for it because you're
Gotcha.
salary capped.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
And we already have a city clerk whose responsibility is to take minutes. This would make his job
Easier.
Yeah.
because he could click start the live stream, and it produces a permanent archive of the
Record.
meeting on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay, and he can
Yep.
go back and review that while he's
Yep.
preparing his minutes. Currently, he audio records them. We didn't know that till a few months ago.
Right.
So
I figured he was doing something.
yeah, so I have FOIA requested those, and I've gotten several recordings.
But if you remember, when we took that vote, it was such a confusing vote
It
the way it was
was.
worded.
I was confused on what we
Yeah.
were voting.
Mm-hmm.
To vote yes was actually to vote no for live streaming.
Exactly.
To vote no was to
Was-
vote yes.
Yep, yeah.
I
And-
was.
and-
Yeah,
to
because
your-
that was one of the things you and I had
I
a
know.
public online
I know,
disagreement about.
I know.
Because I
know.
thought, why in the world would you vote against this? You were for this.
I was
And then-
confused.
yeah, it was.
the way
What-
that it
what-
was proposed.
Yeah, because what Mr. Goins proposed was that we give members of the public the right to video record
Right,
these meetings,
right.
but that the city council wouldn't be
Wouldn't.
responsible.
And-
So that was the yes vote.
That was such an insulting way to put forth that motion, because I don't know if Mr. Goins is aware of this little document called the United States Constitution or not. But we have what's called a Bill of Rights, the very first of which is the First Amendment, which is the freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom for the public to petition our government for redress. I have a constitutional right to record and broadcast these meetings, and I don't need his permission to do so.
Right.
Gotcha.
And I was
don't know if
insulted
it-
that he thought that he needed to give permission to the public to do that.
So it's not a state. It's not like a state law. It doesn't vary by state.
The United States Constitution.
No,
oh.
not that. No, not that.
No,
Okay.
the recordings.
the
correct.
recordings.
You can do that in
It-
any state, right?
Well, you can do that in any state. Yeah, any
Okay.
citizen who wants to. You have a constitutional right, first of all, to record things that are in public.
Okay.
If you can see it where you're standing in public, you can record it.
Okay.
Okay? So, and there's a freedom of the press. And who is the press? Anybody who wants to gather and disseminate information is the press.
Okay. Gotcha.
You don't have to be employed by a media outlet. You
Okay.
can be the media outlet. I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I'm a member of the press. I have a Facebook page. I'm a member of the press. That's
Okay.
all that's required.
Okay.
Yes, I'd be
So-
interested to know if that was worded that way intentionally, or if he just really didn't understand the motion he was making.
Benefit of the doubt,
Maybe
maybe he
not.
didn't
Maybe
understand.
not.
Maybe
but
not.
Maybe
but
not.
it should have just been, the motion should have been put forth, the council not be responsible for
Yeah.
live streaming.
And I think the council should revisit it because there are funding
I
options
agree.
available.
I agree.
And you've proven there's reasons to have it done.
yes.
When Miss Green said that we had voted, she said in the affirmative that we had voted on your resignation. She said that in the February 2nd meeting.
February 4th.
February 4th meeting. You go back and look at it, it's only 10 minutes long. She says we did vote on it.
We did not.
Thank goodness that
We
he's
did not.
taping
I-
there. We
I
did not,
remember.
right. But we had to go back and check.
I remembered we didn't.
Yeah, and that was the first meeting that I recorded, was the one where you read your resignation.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So I decided, since we got the
Right.
camera equipment for doing the podcast, that
Yeah.
might as well set up and record these meetings.
So
and
there
put
you
them
go.
out
That's
there.
just
So-
one example of where
Right.
it came in handy. There's no downside to it, other than
Yeah.
people who want to be on camera.
Right.
There's
I
no
mean-
downside to it.
You know, if a person gets up and says something and makes a fool of themselves, I guess there's a downside.
Downside
of
of
it.
that, yeah.
But this is at a public meeting, and if
Right.
if you do, you do. And I mean, I've stumbled over and stuttered and said some things when I was up there addressing the council. I've
It's no fun. to
I've
do that,
seriously ran some words through the blender when I'm up there, and it's
Not
out there
word
for the
salad,
public to
huh?
view. Word salad, yeah.
Did you do that?
Not quite a word salad, but
I don't like that.
so anyway, On to the next thing.
as you can tell.
The Ward 1, so on the agenda, the first thing was Ward 1 vacancy declaration. The council
Yes.
voted unanimously to declare your seat vacant.
Okay.
So
So we
you're
got
no
that
longer
out.
on the council.
Oh,
So,
I know.
and it
Just
was
as of February 12th?
February 12th, yeah. So,
And we covered the vetting process.
The vetting
He did say he
process-
has more people, but we'll see if he shares it with us. He said on record that he would.
but the vetting process that you put forth a motion that
Oh, yeah,
What
that's
is
right.
that exactly, the vetting process?
to
For
make
the-
sure that they're properly qualified, that they don't have any
Okay.
felon. Like Dwayne put forth a motion that we do a background check on prospective members of the city council. Now,
Sure. Can you do that?
if they just kind of like when you apply for a job, you sign a piece of
Yeah.
paper
Says you
stating
have no felonies.
that
and-
but you also authorize your employer to do a background check on you.
Yes.
So, and I know some people are worried about the egregious cost of that. I used to do background checks on employees whenever I was a Kirby vacuum distributor, and the company required that I contract with a background check company and perform background checks on prospective sales reps, because these sales reps are going to go into people's homes
Right.
to make sure they had no
So-
theft or burglary and that kind of stuff on the record.
So that's with being like a insurance agent, same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And it's
So-
not as
and it's
expensive
not
as it
terrible.
used to be because
And-
of technology, right?
And there's another thing too, is we have this thing called a police department that has direct access to national crime information databases. So it would
Yeah.
probably be a lot cheaper for our city to do a background check than a private employer.
Right.
What about for communities that don't have that? What could they expect to pay for that?
Well, I think I was paying less than $30 for background checks.
Yeah,
Unless I wanted to go nationwide, then I think that number went up. It was less than $100 for a background check, for a nationwide background check.
I met with someone, and I won't say who it is, but it was a prominent individual in politics recently, and they suggested that it would cost upward to $500 for a background check. At the time, I had to accept that because I had done my research, but I don't think that's
No.
accurate.
I don't think so.
I
And
don't
that
think
that person also, because you invited me into that meeting over speakerphone, was, I think, a little confused about who we wanted background checks to be ran on, because he was like, cemetery sextons and ditch diggers, and I'm like, no, we want
We're talking specifically about council
specifically-
members where it's against the law.
What
Yeah.
about sex offenders?
Well,
That's part of it,
that
right?
might be
That
for
would-
workers as well. I don't know.
Yeah, sex offenders may be a disqualifying if it's a misdemeanor, because it qualifies as a what's the infamous crime.
Oh,
So
Okay.
I think that would
Which,
probably
to be clear, no one we know of is, we're just talking about the law
yeah,
here.
yeah.
That's
So-
not, well, yeah.
But that was, but that particular motion was
Kind of
well,
tabled.
it was withdrawn.
I withdrew it.
You
They
withdraw the
gave-
motion
Yeah,
because
and they gave a good reason,
yeah, it needs to go through the legislative.
And that's fine.
committee
And
first, yeah.
Mr. Neal, the city attorney, suggested that we need to look at the legalities of having this done, and I can accept that, and I respectfully withdrew my motion, but I hope that they do look into that. That will
Right.
stop this from happening again in the future.
Right.
The next thing was park playground proposal.
Yes, I remember that
A
was,
very nice playground equipment that's being proposed for the city park.
right.
It's going to be at a cost of about I believe it was like $109,000. Is
Something
that
like
right?
that. Hundreds, yeah.
You can refer to the full video of the February 12th City Council meeting to get that exact data.
And I've already had, today, I had some citizens ask me exactly where it was going. He did say, the park superintendent, Grant McDonald, did say on the, at the meeting where it was. I don't recall it, I haven't gone back to look, but it's on there. But for those people who've asked me, I'll look into it and see if I can get you an answer.
I had a resident reach out to me and a little upset because the mayor had stated in a committee meeting that you and I attended that he did not, and I publicly congratulated and applauded the mayor for saying this to those people who think that I'm just trying to undermine him. That he doesn't want Wishnick Park to be considered the hand-me-down park. And
He did say that.
so I'm hoping that Wishnick Park is going to be getting some much-needed upgrades as well
Yeah.
down there, because people on that side of town, that they deserve stuff too. If we're going to have two city parks,
Right.
and there's some discussion, and I've heard from the end of people that maybe our city isn't large enough for two city parks, whatever. But if we're going to have them, then we need to make sure that they're both properly equipped for the children in those neighborhoods.
Sure.
Next was we had some gentlemen from an electric company, AGE, come and provide a proposal for the city's power supply. And one of the ideas was that it was going to save the city a bunch of money based upon, I didn't understand it exactly. I think I kind of zoned off during that part of the meeting.
Well, it's contracted rates, and I happen to know the guy that was there. I've had businesses in the past, and I've contracted with them to get cheaper rates. But he and I talked before the meeting, and the idea is that behind them being able to save us money, and when I say us, I mean how many accounts does the city have? There was a whole page of separate electric account numbers, and he said that based on a period of time that he looked at, it would have saved us like $20-some thousand.
Yeah, 20 or 30.
That it did save us because we were with them. But I asked him, I said, has there been a 12-month period where being with Ameren would have saved us money? And again, the idea behind them is Ameren may be higher in the summer months, but their charges to your home or business are lower in other months. Winter months, maybe spring or fall. But they're more of a consistent rate. They are a consistent rate if you contract with them. But Ameren can go above and below that rate. Ameren's rates change monthly. So I said, isn't it true that in the last year or so, that if a person is stuck with Ameren, they would actually have saved money during that period of time? And he said, yeah, there has been a period of time recently in a 12-month period where if you hadn't contracted with them, that Ameren would have been cheaper. So I said, what if you could guarantee us, say, 10% below Ameren and let yours fluctuate as well? But it only fluctuates. When Ameren goes up, yours can go up, but we're still 10% below Ameren. When Ameren goes down, you got to go down 10% below them. And he said he thought that they had been doing that in other states, and he actually said it was a great idea. He was going to look into it, but I think I believe he's now since said that he might have misspoke. He's not sure that they're doing that in that other state, but he thinks it's possible.
I had a thought about that while you were discussing it. And this was not so good for that company, but better for the citizens of Lawrenceville. What if we had both a ceiling to they're not going to charge us any more than this, and they're going to charge us at least 10% under whatever the current Ameren rate is.
Yeah.
So so there's a ceiling to it as well. And if we're going to sign a 3-year contract with them to do something like that, then maybe they would be inclined to do that to get our business.
And I would invite the other council members to get more involved in this kind of thing too. I don't know that, I'll cut them a little bit of slack. I had a little bit of knowledge about this because of my experience with them and my businesses.
And it blows my mind that you're not on the contract negotiation committee, because I've negotiated with you recently. You purchased a truck from me at the dealership where I work. Yeah. He needs to be on the negotiations committee. This man can negotiate.
He can negotiate.
Let me speak to that a little bit. Again, going back to which side, if you want to call it a side, has had retaliation against the other. Again, I supported someone who ran against the mayor. Okay, Ryan Curtis.
So did I.
And after that election, April 1st of 25, the mayor removed me from any council of essentially any significance. I was on certain councils that would be one of those that would be meeting often.
Committees.
Subcommittees, yes. I said subcommittees. Thank you for correcting.
You're welcome. Sorry.
He's removed me from a subcommittee of any significance, and the one subcommittee that I was the chairman of, he removed me for being a chairman. So I challenge any of you who say that I have some salty feelings about the election. Why don't you start looking into the facts about what the mayor's done to me or how he's treated me since then. He has not initiated any conversations with me for over a year. I've initiated every conversation that I can recall. He's welcome to challenge me on those facts, but I'm the one that sent him an endorsement of Matt Bruff. I'm the one that suggested that my committee meet for the citywide cleanup. And again, we have someone saying that the mayor told him he wasn't going to include me in the decision-making process of your replacement. So that should put to rest any doubt as to who is performing retaliation.
I want to get your input on this. You said on the council, you had to sit there month after month as I droned on and on.
Yeah. No,
So I address the council every month.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, even after losing the election, I was still addressing the council.
Yes.
And how would you characterize my tone and my demeanor toward the members of the council and the mayor?
Just like you are now.
Polite.
Yes.
Yeah. And
respect.
I got a little bit more forceful as time went on when things were not being addressed.
Right.
You know, at one time I got so aggressive as to say, because there were some accusations in the public that I was running for council and that I'm doing what I'm doing for personal financial gain.
No.
Because I was so desperately wanting that $250 a month.
That a council member gets.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if I was the mayor of the city,
Yes.
my income would be cut in half. So I'm not doing it for
Right.
personal financial gain.
Oh, I totally see that.
But at one point, when I was addressing the rumor that I was doing this for personal financial gain, I got so aggressive that I used such egregious language as to say, I'm doing what I'm doing because I give a damn about my neighbors, and I hope that the council gives a damn about them too. And that is as mean as I have ever gotten,
Right.
other than to ask the mayor, when is enough
Yes.
enough? When will accountability come to bear over the
Right.
wastewater issue?
Right.
And I've even addressed the individual in charge of our wastewater plant with respect. I'm courteous. You know, I said one month that we need redundancy in that department because he's my age. I think he's 1 or 2 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
We're both middle-aged.
Sure.
And, you know, heart attacks happen.
Right.
You know, strokes happen.
Oh, yeah.
Getting hit by a bus happens. We need someone who has the certification to step in to fill that role in case he
Yes.
may, and with his high level of certification, he may get a job offer from a community where the people aren't going to be speaking against him at every council meeting, and he may
Yeah.
want to take that, and then
Right.
we're left high and dry. So there's
Exactly.
a lot of reasons where that position could be vacated, and we need redundancy.
And even those who have called, not just me, you, other citizens, every citizen that has called for the mayor to essentially fire Mr. Tipser, it's been done in a respectful way.
It has been.
His personality, he's not been attacked in a personal nature. It's all got to do with his poor, and what I believe, his poor job performance. Okay, and I'll even go this far. There are people in his inner circle right now,
Yeah.
whom I'm not going to name, but those people at one time were calling for his resignation privately as well, because they've read why, not because they don't like Mr. Tipser,
It's
but
not
because
it's
we've
not
read
personal.
because we've read the reports, we've seen the position he's put us in,
We've seen the pictures.
we've seen the pictures. The outside lab is costing us $3,000 a month, and that's been going on since September, and it's still going on. He's put us in these positions. I don't believe if I was running a company and he was in that position for my company, I would have let him go at some point. And I wouldn't have demeaned him personally. I would have just said, hey, you're not up to snuff here on what you're supposed to do. We're going to find another way to go.
And whether
But
he's competent or not, the job's not being done.
But I just want to make a point. I'm not going to name, but there are people in his current inner circle who actively support him, who not that long ago were wanting him to be
One
fired.
of them was at our super secret Monday
One of them
night
was at
meeting.
a super secret meeting. I know where he was sitting and everything. So I find it to be disingenuous that now you support that person. That leads a reasonable person to believe that person and others are making their decisions on where they stand on these things based on whether or not they like somebody. And we are not. If you were in his position, Louie, I would call for your resignation. You know, and
it would be
at some
deserved.
point, people got to understand that, and people need to start taking notice of that.
Right.
Go back and look at the records, see what's been happening to us, and see that we've been dealing with it.
Okay.
We might have been forceful in some of our language at times, or maybe I get animated or something. You know, there are people that just don't like how I present things, and that's fine. I am who I am. And I still think I'm doing it in a toned down way. but our reasons are
Okay.
honorable.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
You're passionate. That's
Yeah.
why.
There you
That's
go.
why you get animated.
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 Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
armory roof bids, I guess we didn't get any bids for the armory roof repairs, so our architectural firm has suggested that we rebid it with allowing them to bid on more than just one stage of the job, so that
Yeah.
Make it worth
contracting
their money.
company, make it worth their time to do the
Yeah.
job,
Sure.
so.
Because they were doing it in sections, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one
Okay.
section at a time. Now they're
Yeah.
going to open it up to two of them.
I believe so,
So
yeah.
they haven't done any work at all?
No, not yet, no. Because we haven't received a bid to
Gotcha.
vote on. So next was ordinance for property transfers. Last month, council approved to transfer two pieces of property that they had originally taken in. Now they've approved the ordinances, designated those properties will be deeded to the prospective buyers.
Right.
The next is ordinance to amend water deposits, and I support about 90% of this. So remember the meeting where I got up and spoke about the disparity between how the water department was operating versus the ordinance? The ordinance says that there's a $50 deposit for renters and contract buyers, which
Yeah.
I oppose that. But they were charging $200 a month.
I remember that.
So I spoke about that, and because I brought it to the mayor's attention, I did so in an email prior to
Right.
speaking about it.
Okay.
And the Utilities Committee has agreed that these people need to be made whole on the difference of the $150, people who have overpaid that deposit.
Sure.
So they will be getting either cash refunds or credits to
Credit.
their bill. But the council did vote to approve an ordinance to increase the deposit to $200. And there's a reason for that, because we need something skin in the game,
Right.
so that people won't leave a landlord high and dry if they move out of their property and don't pay the water bill.
And that's
Okay.
just water we're
Yeah,
talking about.
just water.
Okay.
Right.
But the problem I did have with the ordinance as worded is that it treats a person who is purchasing a property on contract like a renter.
Right.
And
And requires that deposit.
yeah, if a person is purchasing a house on contract, there is a mortgage, because that's what that contract is.
Yeah,
It is a mortgage.
yeah.
It's supposed to be recorded with the recorder's office.
Yes.
So who your mortgager is, the mortgage holder is, should not come to bear on this, because whether it's the First National Bank of Lawrenceville or the First National Bank of Dwayne, because
Right.
the person's purchasing a property from him and he's holding the mortgage, that shouldn't matter. A property owner is a property owner.
Yes.
So,
And here's an example of how two people can respectfully disagree. You and I talked about that beforehand. And I went prepared to vote against that ordinance. Had my notes. I asked some questions. Again, I encourage the rest of the council to ask questions. I don't hear that from very many of them, just questions in general. But I'd like to see more of that.
Right on.
What is the difference, I asked. I was open to learning something. And Mr. Neal, the city attorney, got up and he explained it to my satisfaction, where I changed my vote sitting up there that night. And
Oh, you did?
yeah, because he says the difference is a contract for sale. When it's a contract for sale, if I'm selling Louie a house,
A contract?
yeah, the contract gets recorded, but the title still stays in my name.
Until it's
And,
over and done with the contract.
Yes, until and that contract could be a couple different ways. I could contract the full sale to him, or I can contract it for a certain number of years.
Right.
And in the contract, it requires him to then go get a bank loan, which he can use that contract to some degree to get credit.
Right.
He goes and gets a bank loan, and then he pays off the balance with me, and then now his notes with the bank. And there's a certain number of years for all of you who do have houses sell on contract. There's a certain number of years that you need to do that within,
Yes.
or it's not to your benefit. Anyhow, consult your attorney on that. Mike Neal said that title stays with the person who's selling the house, whereas if I'm the bank, the title goes.
but it doesn't have
the
to.
seller.
It doesn't have to, though. because you could
It typically does, though.
but because that's what foreclosure's for, is that if you were selling that to me on contract, this is my opinion on it.
But the
And
title insurance would be in your name.
we could put it in the title in my name. Okay, we could retitle the property, do all title work and everything, and then if I default on payments to you on that contract, you could sue me for foreclosure in the court, and then have it all retitled to you.
If I'm selling it as an individual? Oh, yeah, but that's not to my benefit.
No, but it could happen that way.
Yeah, but 99% of the individuals who are selling a house on contract aren't going to do that. They're going to want to hang on to that title. So when he explained that to me, that's the difference. I was like, okay, I can go along with that. So I disagreed with you that night, and I disagree with you now.
That's fine.
I think there is a difference, and that was enough of a
I don't want to be your
difference
friend
me to say.
anymore.
Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm done. No, but I mean that's how talks like this are worked out,
Yeah.
and I agreed
Right.
with that side. I agreed with everyone else
Yeah.
that wanted that ordinance. If I were there to oppose
Everything.
ordinances
Yeah.
or motions like Mr. Victor Fritsch has admitted to opposing, because I bring them up, I would have voted against it that night. So I have a note here to say this later, but I'm going to say it now. Whenever you listen to the comments made by Mrs. Brewer and Ms. Green at the end of the meeting, go back and look at that yourself. I would say that it's time for that side to come over, at least come to the middle with us and talk with us.
Yep.
And I just gave you one more example, and I've cited other examples through our meeting tonight. But if I wanted to do what the other side, at least one of their members has said they wanted to do, which was vote against everything because I bring it up, I wouldn't have voted for that ordinance. It wouldn't have made a difference. It would have went through. But we have on record where Mr. Fritsch has admitted to voting against something that I brought up just because I brought it up.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm the one that accused him of that at a meeting. I said, you voted against the motion that Dwayne put forward because you don't like Dwayne. And he said, you're damn right.
Right.
We have a
Right,
recording
yes.
of that.
Yep.
So
I agree, and I give kudos to Ms. Brewer and Ms. Green for a good part of their speech, but you need to be talking to the people that are on your side.
well, I took them at their word. After the meeting concluded, I went up to both of them
You did?
and I asked them to have a sit-down meeting with me. I have a lot of information. I've done a lot more studying on these EPA situations than probably most people on the council. And you've been part of our super secret Monday night meetings, and I keep calling it that because of what was said online. But would you agree that I have a pretty good understanding of the
You do.
information? Okay.
So I
So-
would be willing to sit down with you,
Yeah, of course.
broaden
Yeah.
my horizon on the
Oh,
situation.
Absolutely, and you have sat down with me to go over some of this information in the past. So, so I went first to Teresa, and I got a little resistance at first, but I
Yeah.
said, Teresa, I'm your constituent. Sit
Right.
down with me.
Right.
Earn my vote in the next election. I'm your constituent, and she did agree, at least there,
She
to
did?
sit down with me. So I'm going to take her at her word. She's going to sit down with me. And be prepared for probably a couple hours because there's a lot of information.
Meet the Jesus meeting.
I have a mountain of information that I want to share. Okay. And then I went up to Dawn Brewer because she's the one who read the other statement about we need to work together.
Right.
Incidentally, I have an email between me and Dawn where I have invited her to sit down with me, and I got no response. And she told me that I had made a comment
Uh-oh.
on a Lawrence County CEO post about the students meeting with Aaron Tipsword and everything. And I
For a
made
tour of the water plant.
tour of the water plant, and I made a comment, maybe something to the effect of maybe you should have asked about
was
the
this?
EPA violations. This is just several weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And she told me that it personally hurt her feelings that I put it up there. And I said, well, I'm sorry that it hurt your feelings, but it got the desired effect because it got your attention. So why don't you meet with me? And she pushed back a little bit, but I finally said, just meet with me. I have information. I want to educate you on what I've been educated on.
Sure.
And she has also agreed to meet with me. It's
Awesome.
funny, though, that one of my other aldermen that's in my ward, and I hate to say this publicly because I so much like this man,
Right.
was Jim Dunn. I really like Jim Dunn. He is a nice guy. He's a good neighbor. he's highly respected.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, whenever I was running for city council, people specifically asked me, "You're not running against Jim Dunn, are you?" Because no, I'm not running against Jim Dunn.
Right.
He's very, very well liked.
What ward is he in?
4.
4. Okay.
Yeah, him and Teresa are the aldermen in Ward 4.
Okay.
And I ran against Teresa. So,
Gotcha.
you know, and whenever
Yes.
when I put my petition in to run against Teresa, she and I were friends on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And she found out I was running against her, and she blocked me on Facebook. Interesting. But Jim Dunn has said that he has no interest in sitting down and meeting with me.
Really?
Yeah, that whatever I have to say just needs to be said at the open council meetings. He has no interest in meeting with me, but he's elected to represent me, and that troubles me.
And I personally asked him to come to meetings, either with me and you or with other people, and he has said he doesn't want to, and that's his prerogative, I guess.
Right.
It's not right. I'm not here to, you know, I use this word a lot, to denigrate him. We'll just point out a fact.
Yeah.
He's been offered to sit down with us, and he has said on more than one occasion he's not interested.
Not interested.
And I find that troubling that you wouldn't be interested in hearing what we have to say.
Yeah.
There was another council member that approached me after, and you were there for the whole conversation after the meeting,
After this one?
Yes.
after the one on last Thursday's
Yes.
council meeting. And that person, I like him as a person too, and I'm not going to name him right now, Louie, but
People can watch the video and see that he approached you directly upon the mayor gaveling out the meeting. He walked straight over to have
Straight
a sit
over,
down
yeah.
with you.
He did?
yeah, and he was proud of the fact that in as many years as he's been on there, and he's been on there more than anyone on the council, that he made this statement, he's never voted against a mayor selection for a council appointee. Well, I don't think that's something to be proud of. I think you should, if let me take that point a little further. He hasn't even found the need to do his due diligence to research the person because he believes that the mayor, if that's who the mayor wants, that's a good person and that's who he's going to vote for. I don't think that's the way to do it.
Right.
To take that a little further is, I several times in this conversation, I practically begged the man, sit down and talk with us. Let us show you what we have. Have you read everything? And he admitted he hasn't read everything. He's seen things online.
He claimed that he knew it all because because of what we've done online and because of what I say at the council meetings, he thinks he knows.
He says he knows it all, but he hasn't read everything.
But we
in
showed him
detail.
multiple instances of things just there in that few-minute conversation
Yep.
of things that he didn't know. For
And
example,
that wasn't enough to sway his mind.
the open meetings violation that I alleged against the mayor and 2 council members, Fritsch and Goins. I got a copy of a letter that our city attorney wrote to the Attorney General's office where he admits that they did sit down and they did discuss city business in the mayor's office. And we showed this other council member this information, and after reading the letter, he goes, "Oh yeah, that's a violation of open meetings."
Yeah, he said if that's what happened, that's a violation. He said that.
Yeah.
But yet he knows everything, and he doesn't see any need to sit down with us. So again, to the 2 individuals that read their statements at the end of the meeting, they need to be talking to the rest of them.
Yes.
I will sit down with anybody,
Me too.
and it will be
No, I take that
respectful.
back. I have no interest in sitting down with Victor Fritsch.
Yeah, he's already proven he doesn't have an open mind, and there's no need to do that.
Kelly, and maybe you don't want to get into this. I don't know, but
He's putting you on the
when you
spot.
were on the council, you sat right next to Mr. Fritsch, okay? And I alleged that he had something written on his folder about Mr. Volkman at a previous council meeting, to which he replied, "So it's out there in the public. It's out there in the internet.
Right,
So
right.
You are the one who witnessed what he wrote." And you don't have
I
to
did too
say
when
the
I walked
words.
past him. But
You
go
don't
ahead.
have to say the words, but you can indicate what was written. And
He does not care for Mr. Volkman. I'll put it that way.
And it was all in like a doodling,
Personally.
yeah, and like a doodling nature, and just why would you be sitting there in a meeting and
Right.
and do that kind of stuff? It's beyond me. That's not a reasonable, rational human being.
right, and when I accused him of that at the, I believe it was the December 11th meeting, his response was so he didn't deny it,
Right.
tacitly agreeing with what I said. And then he also, I said, and see, that's why you voted against the motion, because Dwayne put it forward and you don't like him. He said, you're damn right.
Right.
And I went a little further as I was taking my seat, and I said, see, everybody, he said, you're damn right. That's both irresponsible and childish, and I took my seat.
Yeah.
And I gave him an opportunity at the last meeting to take back something that he said, and he wouldn't do it. Well,
You did?
Yes, at the 10-minute meeting where we were supposed to vote in your replacement,
Yeah.
I started off my statement then by saying I'm not here to denigrate or disparage anyone. And I even said at one point that I respected the person that the mayor was bringing forth.
Mm-hmm.
And but by law, he's not eligible. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And before I even said anything other than I'm not here, go back and read it. It's 10 minutes or listen to it. It's 10 minutes long. I said, I'm not here to denigrate or disparage anyone. And he says, and I didn't catch it at the time, or I would have addressed it then. I didn't catch it till I watched it. He says, yes, you are. So at last Thursday's meeting, I said, I want to give Mr. Fritz the opportunity to correct his statement. And then I recounted what happened. You said this, and I hadn't even said anything other than that first sentence. Mm-hmm. And you said, yes, I am. Now's your time. Who was I denigrating or disparaging? He couldn't say. I said, do you want to take that back? Do you want to take a different position on this? No comment. So how can you have, again, especially to the two people that now seem to be willing to sit down and talk with you, or you and I both, I hope they're okay with sitting down with both of us, it's not us, it's them. To not even take that back or apologize or say I was wrong,
Right.
I don't understand that mentality.
To anyone on that council who is willing to sit down with me and go, or the both of us,
Right.
with an open mind,
Yes.
and truly go over the information with an open mind, I pledge right now I will publicly applaud you for having an open mind and doing your job to represent your constituents' best interests.
And going
Yeah.
a step above. And
Yes.
Yes.
And check this out too, Kelly.
What?
During the speeches, one of the two speeches, I don't recall which one it was, the things that these two people read, one of the statements was they wished that this stuff wasn't, that our issues weren't dealt with in social media. Why not? This is how, if we're wrong, point out where we're wrong.
This is
You
the
don't have
modern
to know-
media.
Yeah, huh?
This is the modern media.
This is the modern media. It's our right to do this. But if we've said something that is wrong, bring it to our attention and we'll correct it. I forget what it was, but you did that once already. And I
It was
forgot-
the location of the wastewater plant.
Yeah, but there was something else early on that you came on and said, hey, I was wrong about this or that. I don't remember what it was.
I kind of remember that too.
Yeah, point it out. Why do you not want all the, what we're dealing with? We're not dealing with family dirty laundry here.
Right.
We're dealing with the business of the city. And
Right.
I would think that all of the residents of the city would want to know these things because we can't cover it all in the
Right.
city council meeting. And then at the last meeting, I was even shut down at the very end. Ron's asking me questions, and I went back and forth with him a little bit. And at some point, the mayor kind of taps his gavel and says, I'm calling order here. But he
Right.
allows Mr. Waldrop to continue addressing me. And Mr. Waldrop even said my name, I think, after that. But I couldn't say anything back. I believe that was wrong. If you're going to call it to order, then it needs to be both of us.
Both parties.
Right. But then I wasn't given the opportunity to speak back. And anyway, I thought that was wrong. But I don't see anything wrong with this with doing this on social media, as long as we're putting out truthful and accurate information.
It's the modern media.
If we're wrong, we'll correct it.
These people who don't like it being on social media would have been the same people in the early 1800s that would have been upset because it was in a newspaper.
Yeah.
So.
And they're the same people who voted against live streaming,
Right.
and the same people who voted against requiring city employees to use time clocks, which that baffles me. I don't understand that. 28 employees and we don't want to use time clocks.
We sat down with Darren Bailey and Aaron Delmar. They're running for governor and lieutenant governor of the state of Illinois.
Yes. Yes.
And after we finished the podcast recording, I approached Mr. Bailey, Darren Bailey, really nice man.
Yeah.
And I said, can you believe our city council just recently voted against time clocks for hourly employees? And he goes, just like that, like, what? He couldn't believe it. Because first of all, if you're a private business you're spending your own money to pay these employees.
Right.
You're going to want to make sure you're paying them the right amount.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But interestingly enough, whenever these people up on the council are spending other people's money, suddenly there's no worry about it. We'll just let these people self-report their hours, and we'll just trust that they're being honest. The number one thing people are going to lie about is when it comes to money.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, let's take that a step further, though.
I'm not saying that they are
I'm not
lying.
saying they are,
Yeah.
but the
No.
temptation is there.
Right.
And human beings being human
We're
beings.
human.
Yeah, some people are going to take that temptation.
Right.
But look at it from the practical sense, from a practical point of view. When they write down their time, the employees who report to supervisor, who then that time sheet goes to the clerk. So the employee 3 steps down from the clerk, 2 steps down from the clerk.
Yeah.
3 people have, if they're doing their job right, 3 people have to calculate their time manually. If they're doing it right.
Yeah.
Then the supervisors, the department head supervisors, they got to calculate their time, and then so does the mayor if he's doing it right.
Right.
Okay. If you're doing it in an automated system, no one has to calculate it.
Right.
And so what does that do?
Save time.
Saves time. And I've got a calculation at home that at some point I may or may not bring up. But that was one of Mr. Goins' points was,
Right.
it's only 28 employees. Well, most of those employees, they have to do their time, then their direct supervisor, then the city clerk. So that's 3 people in that chain that have to do the math. Is it that much for 1 or 2? No. But again, you're talking probably, 24 of them have to do that? Then you've got the 4 department heads. They have a couple levels of math checking. But it not only saves time, Kelly, but it also takes out the possibility of human error.
Right.
Why wouldn't we want to do that?
I know.
Maybe it was because I brought it up. Maybe Louie. Maybe that was it.
And this may be patting myself. This is patting myself on the back a little bit, but
Oh God.
I'm a different kind of guy when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I sell cars for a living.
Sure.
And I work on commission. And I have had people reach out to representatives of the company I work for saying we'll never purchase from that company as long as Louie Campbell works there because of what I'm doing to represent the citizens of Lawrenceville here.
What's your company say?
I'm still employed. So, but if someone wanted to reach out to the company I work for and ask them how I am when it comes to my pay reports, there's been a number of times in the 6.5 years that I've been there that I get a commission report on a deal. It's a deal recap.
Right, yeah.
And I went to my, at the time, sales manager and said, hey, you guys are paying me too much on this because of this reason or this reason, that this is too much.
Wow.
And the first time I did it, he was like, what? what are you doing? And I said, well, listen, in my opinion is if I don't alert you to the times you pay me too much, I don't deserve to alert you to the times you're not paying me enough.
Right.
And so I do have that level of integrity.
Yeah.
But there is temptation. Clearly, there's temptations of like, hey, they're overpaying me on this. Maybe I should just shut up and take it.
Sure.
Or maybe I didn't come to work at 8 o'clock like I'm supposed to, but I showed up at 8:30. But I'm just going to get. I really need money right now.
Are you strictly commissioned, or do you get hourly?
I'm strictly commissioned.
Okay.
Yeah, strictly commissioned. So, which steak or beans. So,
feast or famine.
Yeah. So, and you know the life, because you work in commission sales as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So on the next thing, vacuum, jet truck, and excavator updates. The excavator, I understand, is being built for the was it cemetery department? Okay. And the vacuum jet truck, there was some clarification given to you. You had some questions, but we had a former Myers truck that is still somewhat operational, but it's on its last leg.
Yeah, I'm not real clear on what's going on with that.
But the vacuum jet truck actually performs more operations than the Myers truck did. Because you were prepared to, question that maybe the Myers truck wasn't properly maintained. Why are we buying this new equipment? But when given the information, you were able to change your mind based upon new information.
Well, again, I try not to operate on rumor, and rumor has it that truck was neglected, and in a maintenance way, and that's
The
why
Meyer truck?
and that's why it's not operational now. Now,
But it is
I don't have
operational.
the facts, so I asked. Well, according to Mr. Tipser, it
We're
is.
told that it is operational.
So, to know for sure, a person would just have to go check it out and see, and at some point, maybe that's what we do. But I took it, I had another question. If we're not gonna, if the truck we're looking at buying does what the Myers truck does and then some, why don't we look at selling the Myers truck and using that money to go toward the new truck? Why would we need to have
Yeah.
one that's barely working? And maybe it's not sellable, I don't know, but it's worth looking into. I also brought up that.
It's worth more money in scrap than it is sitting at the city garage.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's just sitting there.
We're told that it's still somewhat operational, but it's on its last leg.
It just pushes a clog downstream, whereas the new one will push and then suck out what it breaks up.
Oh, okay.
That's in layman's terms, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
But I also brought up, and I understand the need for a rainy day fund. But these CDs that we have that have been there for years,
decades,
according to some of them, if it's going to save us money as far as interest payments on a new this or that, why don't we use these CDs?
Yeah.
The interest off of them?
Yeah, and then,
Well, yeah, because-
the CD itself, not just the interest.
Oh, okay.
But you can use those CDs. I don't know if you remember getting these. I wasn't aware of what they were. I just recently began to ask questions. What are these CDs? Well, apparently they're allocated to certain items: water, sewer, cemetery, general fund.
I think when you brought that up was my first meeting. It was like May or something, right?
Well,
Or you brought it up before?
I may have brought it up before, but I had so much other stuff going on, I didn't dig into it deeper. Now I have. On the CD list, he's actually putting this CD goes to this department, that CD goes to that department.
So they're
We weren't getting
allocating?
that. Yeah.
Oh.
So why not use some of that CD money
And the way
for
people-
this truck and worry about replenishing the CD later? And what's that going to do? That's going to help the citizens not have to pay.
And I'm not a banking professional, but
No.
I have somewhat of an understanding of how banks use this money.
Sure.
You put money on deposit, and say I'm just going to use some easy numbers.
Okay.
You're given 5% return on your money.
Right.
Okay.
Over a
Then the bank
timeframe.
is able to loan out. Actually, according to fractional banking, they're able to loan out more than what you put on deposit. But anyway,
Okay.
they loan it out at a higher percentage. So holding this money in CDs, as opposed to cashing it out and paying toward the purchase, it isn't saving us money, because we're going to pay that spread. The difference between what we're earning on the CD to what we're paying for the loan that we get to purchase the equipment is
Right.
money that it's unnecessarily costing us. We should cash those CDs in and use them.
Yeah.
It's not hedging against that money. It's if it's hedging against, it's ineffectively hedging against it.
Gotcha.
So that's a cost that we are unnecessarily incurring.
Gotcha.
So the next.
Partial, maybe
Yeah.
not the whole thing, but partial.
And also the Cemetery Perpetual Fund, as I understand it, the CDs for that can be cashed in to purchase equipment for the cemetery, for example,
the mower.
Right. the
Right.
excavator, those kinds of things. But it can also be cashed in to replenish the general fund for purchases made for the cemetery in the last session. So
Yeah, right.
when we purchased the rear discharge mower last year, we can cash in a CD and replenish the general fund for that, and that money can be used for anything.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
for example, live streaming. I don't know. So I think that deserves to be looked at. But
Yes.
the next thing we have the water department update and sewer plant update. Mr. Tipsword explained that a lot of the issues with the recent notice of violations from the EPA for our water department are being addressed. That there is no quality issues with the water, according to him. But what was important is when we got onto the sewer plant update, Dwayne had some questions for him
Yeah.
regarding the EPA did a site survey on September 16th where it was stated that no laboratory vent sheets could be provided.
No.
And Mayor,
Let me read that. I'll read that quote. This is out of the EPA report from September 16, page 7. It says, the lab was in an unsatisfactory state and no lab bench sheets could be provided. It was recommended that the city immediately cease all laboratory analysis and send all future samples to an off-site commercial lab, which we've been doing since this date at a cost of, like I said, about $3,000 a month to the city, and it's still ongoing.
$100 a day.
Yep.
Yep. So
Again, the lab, well, $100 a shipment, and we send 3 shipments out.
A day?
well, we're doing okay,
We're talking
but
about
it's
the
costing
lab.
us about $100 a day. That's
Oh, yeah,
overall, yeah,
but each
so-
shipment also costs, but then you got to pay the lab fees too.
Yep.
The lab is in an unsatisfactory state, and no lab bench sheets could be provided.
Okay, so
And when
to-
I asked him what happened,
He said that I have those on my laptop, some of them, and my question is, if you were the sewer superintendent, the EPA is at your plant, breathing down your neck, scrutinizing
yeah.
every single thing,
I'd be having my
Okay.
laptop there saying here.
and
or if it's not there,
and
let me
they,
go get it.
they
Yeah.
said, hey, where are these bench sheets at? Are you going to be like, I don't know, or are you going to be like, I got them at home on my laptop?
You know what else is curious about that? It just occurred to me.
Huh.
When we asked the mayor in December, and he said, was it December? He said it's a mystery,
It's a
where
mystery
they came from.
where the data came from.
Why didn't he speak up then?
Yeah, Aaron was there. Yeah.
Why didn't he speak up then? But when I asked him point blank, where did this come from? He says, I have some of them on my laptop. But he stated on camera that he didn't have them all. I thought you had to have, maybe I'm wrong about this part, but I thought you had to have a bench sheet to show how you arrived at your numbers.
That's my understanding, but again, I'm
That's
not
from talking to the previous.
What's-
Oh, yeah.
May I ask what a bench sheet consists of?
It,
But that's a good question.
essentially, it shows how you arrived at the calculations. This is coming from the previous
Yeah.
operator. How you arrived at the calculations from your testing that day of the results you're getting to send into the EPA.
Okay. So
It's
it
like a
shows it all
worksheet.
matches up.
Kind of like a worksheet from my
Kind of like a
understanding.
math test,
Yeah.
and the teacher says, show me
Show
your
your
work.
work.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
there you go.
Okay.
Show your work.
Okay.
But if the EPA was there on site and he didn't think to say, they're on my computer at home, let me run home real quick and get it. Instead, allowing himself and the city to be subject to violations.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, maybe it's accurate, but I doubt the veracity of his claim that they are on his laptop. Maybe they are. Produce them, show me the forensic proof that they were not created after the fact.
Right.
Maybe he's 100% accurate, but I don't trust the man.
But
So-
the fact is too that the EPA states that the water going into the river was discolored.
It was
Right.
gray, milky, and smelled of raw sewage.
So, and that didn't happen overnight. That I'm confident that wasn't a one day. That didn't just happen the day they were there.
Yeah.
So it happened as a result of us not keeping the lab in a pristine and operable condition.
It's like something I said at a previous meeting. I believe it was at a December meeting when we brought the signs out with the trees
Yes,
growing in
yes.
the sludge tank, and they're I guess bragging. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're resting on the laurels of we've gotten a lot of this work done. Well, why wasn't it done to begin with?
Exactly.
You know, that's
Yeah.
that's like smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day for your entire life. You get you've got metastatic lung cancer, and it's like, oh crap, maybe I should take a
Yeah.
vitamin.
Be proactive, right?
Be proactive and not reactive.
Or your kid, you having to get on them to clean up the room, and that's the only time it gets cleaned, and it goes right back to where it was after
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
few weeks.
Yeah.
Here's something else that I'd asked him too. Again, some of this information is coming to me from other people. They'd be amazed at some of the people that come up to us with information. I'd asked him if there was remote work being done at his house. Kelly, you'd be interested to know this.
Okay. Remote work.
Remote work. He
Okay.
has to check. He has to check his computer to look at some meter readings nightly, and he gave some times of day that he did. I think it was like 6 at night, and we takes the dog out at midnight or so. And anyway, he's getting 2 hours of pay for checking this work at home.
2 hours per day, not
2 hours per day, not
He's
per
not.
incident.
He's not
yeah.
doing check.
Right.
You know.
So is it
But-
considered overtime?
I would assume, I don't know how else, I'm gonna give you a calculation of it at overtime. So if
Okay.
he's doing, I'm going off what he said, and I'm open to being corrected, but my understanding is this is something that he has to do daily.
Daily.
It doesn't take him 2 hours, but he gets 2 hours of pay, and it's something that he only has to do because the system, there's a part of the system that's broken down,
Really?
and a part of the automated system that's broken down that could be corrected, fixed, get the new part, whatever it takes, and he wouldn't have to do this. That's my understanding. But he did say that he's been doing it for about 1.5 years, okay?
Wow.
At overtime pay, 1.5 years, that's $40,000 a year
What?
to do that work at home. Is anyone else aghast at that? That's over $40,000 a year.
That's more than some people's paycheck for the whole year.
That's more than the mayor makes.
Oh my goodness.
And here's
In
what I have. I mean, I've got,
just doing these checks 2 hours a day.
so his rate of pay is $37.39 an hour. You take the overtime pay of $56.08 times 2 hours,
It's $112 a day.
$112 a day times
Checking
52
money.
or 365 days,
Check his math.
41,000. Now, if I'm wrong about that, please correct
Yeah,
me.
that's $40,880 a year.
But if I'm right, that is, I would hope that whatever needs to be fixed wouldn't
Would be
cost
fixed,
$40,000.
Are you talking about a part?
Yeah, a part for this automated system that would call him up if there was a problem, but because this is my understanding, okay, my limited understanding
Where
of
did
it,
you
but he
get-
has a
Where did this come from?
someone who knows how these systems
Oh,
operate.
okay. Okay.
My understanding is if the system was operating, it would notify him by telephone call, and it might even go down the chain, him, then the next guy, and the next guy. If there was a problem, that's when they get involved. But I believe he's checking this because that automated system isn't in place.
right.
Therefore, he has to check it
Oh, wow.
to make sure that these readings are being, these meter readings are accurate. And this is at the water plant.
There's a lot of people in the public that would probably not be super motivated to get the repair done if they can make an extra $40,000 to $41,000 a year.
I think that argument could be made,
checking it.
yeah.
I'm not saying that's what the
Right.
situation is here. It may
Right.
be, we may be completely wrong on that, but it does present motivation to keep the status quo. Because that's 40 grand a year. That's a significant extra chunk of change.
Yeah.
You know, wow. So next thing was park pool chlorinator. The council had approved the purchase of, I think it was it $19,000
Yeah.
for it's a chemical system. And again, this is a part of the meeting that I must admit I zoned out a little bit on. But then we had department head reports.
Yeah.
It was interesting that while the mayor did not directly address your question about employees being asked to attend the meetings, but all 4 department heads were at this meeting.
Which they should be.
And here's an interesting thing: as a council member, if you ask for something to be put on the agenda when you were the council member on the council, was it put on the agenda? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
I was
I'll
present when Dwayne sent an email to the mayor asking for things to be put on the agenda. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dwayne, you asked for the information about Kelly's seat being vacant, to be officially declared vacant, and the vetting process for the vacancy to be added to the agenda, as well as for the council to discuss and require department heads to start attending the meetings.
I would have to,
Oh,
I have
it
to look
wasn't
back
on
and
there.
see exactly how it was worded. I'll
Okay.
do that
You
when you
need
all
to put it
talk.
on the
But,
agenda.
yeah, it was not on the agenda, but that all 4 department heads were present. So, and here's my reasoning. I have to tell you, I urged Dwayne to have that done, and I had to say repeatedly why I think it's important. Okay, as a former council member, tell me if you think this is valid.
Okay.
These departments, there's things that go on in the course of the month.
Sure.
And there's work that has been done, work that needs to be done. There's situations that arise in these departments that you have to, when you were on the council, you cast a vote that affects those departments.
Sure.
So, isn't it safe to say that you need information from them so that you can effectively lead the city?
Right, right.
Okay, that's why I want the department heads to show up, and not just show up,
Yes.
but I think it's important that they show up and give a comprehensive report of their departments for the full council so that the council can make educated decisions to manage our city effectively.
Sure.
And you're not the only one that has said that. And initially, I kind of pushed back on that a little bit, to be fair. You know, there's a space on our agenda for department heads, always has
Yes.
been, but they don't all always show up.
Right.
And again, before I really started getting involved in stuff like I have been lately, and again, the one thing that really got me to get involved was when the people who were experiencing sewage backups in their home,
Yes.
which in my opinion might have been, it's been turned over to the insurance company. The insurance company needs to determine whose fault it was, whether it was the city's fault or not.
Right.
But I do know that they weren't giving all the accurate information. That's how I got involved in all this. But you brought it to my attention. You've asked me this for a while now. Some other people have asked me, why don't the department heads come? So, doing what I believe I'm there to do, which is represent these people,
Yes.
the constituents, the citizens of Lawrenceville, I'm like, okay, I work for you, so when that's what you want to see done, I'll try to do it. So on the email, I said, among other things, department head attendance and reports at city council meetings. Now, I don't know if he should be cut some slack, and maybe he misunderstood what I meant by that, because the department heads were all there,
Yeah.
but it wasn't on the agenda to take any action on. So that part, you're accurate about that. Maybe he misunderstood. I don't know.
Maybe you could.
But
Well, can you make an official request asking him to put that on the next agenda? Because I think it's important because, I've made a big deal about a department head who gave a report in the April meeting. Aaron Tipsword gave his department head report in the April meeting when he said, two words, and of course one of those words is
Yeah.
a lot of water, and that was, in my opinion, an irresponsible, flippant, report to give to the council. A lot of water. I think it's important to give a comprehensive report of your department so that the council can make effective, informed decisions that affect the 4,400 people who live in the city.
I agree.
my view on that is, about them all showing up, is if we're going to be a council where we don't do much, where we're not proactive, then heck yeah, just do it the way we've been doing it. Don't require them to show up.
Yeah.
But if we're going to be a proactive council, yeah, they should probably show up, and they should not just show up.
We should pay them.
We should be, but we should be asking questions. If we have questions on things, and maybe there'd be months where we don't have questions, but,
least they're there.
Yeah, in case we want to ask them. Mr. McDonald, he had some input about, he explained to the audience there where the new playground equipment was going to go. He had some input on the roof at the armory.
Right.
Aaron had some input. Jim White's there in case there's an issue, and Jim White actually provides a one-page little written report of arrests and such that he's done that month. So everybody should be. We have, and I really like Mr. Griggs, but I don't see why there's pushback about having them all show up and
I would go one step further than the way it's done as well, because when I address the council, I'm supposed to go up to the podium to address the council.
Right.
And because we do film and broadcast these now, I would request that these department heads go to the podium, give your report.
Right.
Aaron did last month in January.
Okay.
Go to the podium, give your report
Right.
at the podium, so that the microphones can pick it up, so that the people who watch this online can see all the information as well. And also, it provides a permanent archive for the council members to go back and study.
Sure.
Before we got together today, I called you before I come over to your house so we can do this, and you said, I'm doing my homework. You were watching past meetings to bring yourself up to speed, to remind you, refresh your memory on everything that's happened.
I want to be as accurate as I can.
Yeah,
I'm not perfect. I do make mistakes, but don't demean or denigrate my personality over it. If I make a mistake, let's talk about the mistake and let's get it corrected. But I said that. I wanted to.
And so I think it's important that they go to the podium where the microphone will pick up what they're saying a little more clearly.
So as a prior council member, would you agree with that's a good idea?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
What do you have to add about your experience on Lawrenceville City Council? It was a brief experience. You were there almost a year.
Yeah.
So what was your...
Oh boy. I felt very proud to be elected after just living in Lawrenceville, a short period of time.
You ran against a guy who was very well liked.
Right.
I'm friends with him on Facebook now, and he's a good writer. I love reading the stuff that he writes on Facebook. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah. He actually came over to congratulate me one night after the election, and I wasn't home, I don't think. But then I ended up seeing him a day or two later, and he stopped on the street. He was driving down the road, and he stopped to congratulate me, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he seems like a real gentleman.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that he would have been the mayor's appointee. Because
that's what I thought of.
Yeah.
I thought, yes, that's what I thought.
I understand and I don't want to go into it too much because it's his private business, but he has posted it publicly. He is going through some health challenges.
Okay.
So
right.
keep him in your prayers.
Right. Okay.
He could use the prayers.
But with regards to the council, I feel like it was more than I signed up for. I mean, because of everything just exploding with things going on in the community and nothing was being done and residents coming up to the meeting. Like, I wanted to cry sometimes when they were coming up and the families were talking about, the sewage in their basements and this and that. It was just horrible. And I feel like if I would have had more time on the council, that I could have really helped make a difference. But I also felt like I was a minority a lot.
No, you were.
Yes. With trying to get things done and doing the right thing. But we take an oath, don't we? When we're sworn in to abide and do the best. What the best is for the residents and the community. And so,
I thought you did a good job on the council.
Well, thank you.
I was happy to see you get elected. I was hoping to get elected alongside you.
Right.
But that didn't happen. I thought you did great.
Thank you.
We didn't always agree on everything.
No.
But we can be adults and
Sure.
discuss our disagreements and still walk away from it friends.
Friends.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that I got to meet you because I think you're a great person. So
Thank you.
it's nice to have you as a friend.
Thank you.
So
likewise.
And you couldn't always make it to every meeting. At the house, at our house.
Oh, no.
The secret Monday night meetings.
Super
secret. But when you could, you did.
Yeah.
And you didn't always, like Louie said, you didn't agree with everything you had to say, but it was done in a respectful manner.
Sure.
And that's the way it should be with everyone. But I would contend that one of the reasons that you felt like things were blowing up is because before you and this and me and this, I can't think of anyone else that's really listened to some of the topics with an open mind that we've brought up. But before you and I started bringing things up that needed addressed, the reason things weren't blowing up is because everybody was rubber stamping. Everybody was just, they showed up. They came to their subcommittee meetings when they had to, but questions weren't being asked. Things weren't being looked into.
And I think you got that ball rolling.
Well, and I thank you, but I did it with support from people behind the scenes.
Sure.
Like Mr. and Mrs. Horn.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez, the Durants, who are
wonderful people.
Oh my gosh,
wonderful
Louie. It's like
also a wonderful
yes,
person.
You too.
Wonderful,
you
wonderful
too, Louie. You got the ball rolling. I meant he was on the council. And
I'm just playing. That's
I could have done exactly, and you were so new, you wouldn't have
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have known or wanted to get involved to the degree that you ended up getting involved when you saw you had support.
Sure.
I could have done what everyone else has done, and
Yeah.
my gosh, my life would be so much easier.
Bury your head in the sand.
I could just sit there and
right?
kept my mouth shut. When the Durants were talking, and Mr. and Mrs. Horn, when they were talking, Jennifer Rodriguez, I could have just sat there like everyone else and not said or done a thing or gotten involved.
Right, right.
Instead, you followed Mr. Horn out of the meeting in June.
Yeah, and I
said-
asked her, hey, tell
Yes.
me what's going
Tell
on.
me
Ron.
more
Yes.
about this.
Tell me about what's going
Yeah.
on.
That's what got us involved.
And why did I
Right.
have to ask him that? Because we weren't
Nobody
being
else
told,
did.
we weren't being told by the mayor what was going on to that degree.
No.
We weren't being told by anyone else what was going on. So
And the Horns have been wonderful.
Yes.
that's why things have blown up, because we've asked questions.
Yes, yes. I'm a very empathetic person too. So for those people, those residents to go through what they did,
And for no one to exchange conversation with them when they were talking,
Right.
or no one to go out there and talk to them afterwards. I fully expected their councilmen, their representatives had already discussed this with them in
Right.
detail, and
Right.
they're both like, no. And when they told me that Mr. Tipsard hadn't consulted with them on their water issue for over 100 days, yet in one of the meetings, he said that he had been there prior to the 100 days. I mean, they called him out. I didn't put them up to this stuff.
Right.
Well,
I'm getting involved because of what I'm seeing happening.
Right.
They are the ones that said that's not true. I had no knowledge whether it was true or
well, it
not.
was the Horns that called. They have whistleblower status because they
oh
called.
yeah, they did.
They called
They
the
did.
EPA,
They did.
and the reason they called the EPA is important because Mr. Horn had stated in front of, I believe in front of the mayor, but at least directly to Mr. Tipsard, maybe I should call the EPA to get something done.
Right.
And his response, according to Mr. Horn, was call the EPA. They're not going to help you. So he took Mr. Tipsard at his word and called the EPA.
And there you go.
And now the EPA is involved, and Mr. Horn shared those documents with me and Dwayne, and it blew my mind, all the stuff that was going on.
Blew mine too.
Yeah.
I cannot believe
What do
it.
you think about the NPDES permit not being filed for, and then the mayor's explanation and our engineers firm's explanation of essentially my dog ate my homework?
I can't fathom it. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, because we have not just a moral, but a legal obligation to maintain records of that permit application. So, and the HMG, the company that, based on their statement, prepared the permit in
Right.
March or early April.
But didn't
They
get paid for it?
They didn't bill us for it.
Right.
And
don't have a
when-
copy.
And when they billed us for the one they performed in August, it was $9,500, and I don't. My assertion is that they don't have a steeple on their roof, indicating they're not a non-for-profit.
Right.
They're there to make money,
Right.
and I doubt very seriously that they're going to leave nearly $10,000 on the table.
Yeah.
And I questioned them about that in an email, and their billing cadence is such that what work is completed this month will be billed next month. So by August, when we received the notice of violations, they still hadn't billed us for it. And it's not because they didn't know that the EPA lost the application,
Right.
because no one was aware of that until we got a notice of violations dated August 13th.
It's true.
So why did they not bill
Well,
us?
you guys are going to take this conversation on for a minute. I got to take a quick break.
Oh,
I'll be right back.
Okay.
we'll take a break
Okay.
right here. We're back. So, Dwayne, you had something that you wanted to say?
Did you have anything you wanted to finish up on what you were saying earlier?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
good.
Did
cool.
you?
No, I'm
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Again, you'll have to go back and read or watch the Thursday meeting of February 12th. And at the end, I commend these two individuals for speaking up, but I just want to address some of what they had to say. Ms. Brewer and Ms. Green both, they stated to their credit that everyone needs to. Well, at one point, Ms. Green said that everybody is acting like children.
Really?
But yeah, but now, yeah, and that everybody needs to essentially get along, and I agree with her sentiment. I'm not putting her down, and it's not real easy to to get up there and
Put
speak
yourself
your
out
thoughts
there.
sometimes. Yeah, so maybe she didn't intend to use the word children, but that's what I have an issue with. I don't see where I or Louie or the people who have gotten up and spoken have acted like children. We've shown frustration because our issues and our concerns aren't being addressed, and it's not like we've brought them up once or twice or three times.
Right.
Some of these things we brought up over and over and over. So I appreciate you, Ms. Green, for what you had to say, but I don't agree with the labeling it as acting like children. I think some people are, even the other side, I think some people are just not involved or engaged, and those of us that are just a little frustrated that more people aren't.
I agree with that.
I would also go on to say, and I would, for anyone that would want to contact me personally, I can give you specific examples. But I believe that we've actually been lied to in certain instances, and at the very least, we've been gaslit. Ms. Brewer suggested that someone has a personal agenda. She claimed that some have a personal agenda. I would invite her to expound upon that with specifics, using facts, not what you think or feel. That suggests, we already talked about the suggestion that we shouldn't use social media. I disagree with that. But again, overall, I appreciate their sentiment. I appreciate that they said they're willing to meet with you. I would expect they wouldn't have a problem meeting with me. I don't have a problem meeting with them. I'm as informed on a lot of these issues, on all the issues that we've dealt with. So they shouldn't have an issue with meeting with me, and I'll listen to them. I'll be respectful.
I'd like to see Mr. Waldrop be a little more open-minded and to meet with us.
Yeah, that surprised me for him to say that he didn't have a need to meet with us. I didn't.
And I'd like to see my other council member who represents me on the council, Jim Dunn, be willing to sit down with me. I am his constituent. I'm his neighbor. I like him. I want to see him I want to sit down with him and go over this information. I would invite anybody on that council other than Victor Fritsch, because I have no interest in meeting with that man. So
Right. Me either at this
that's only
point, but-
because of his personal animus. At the December meeting, I tried to greet him at the beginning of the meeting. I said, "Good evening, Mr. Fritsch," and he just glared at me and walked on past. And
Yeah, he likes to play
and I've-
silly, childish games.
and I've been polite to him up to that point, so I have no interest in meeting with him.
No council member has asked to sit down with me. The mayor has not asked. I've asked for the mayor to make time for me and to let me know when he's available. I've asked for most, if not all, the council members other than Victor Fritsch. I won't say all of them, but I've asked for a sit down with several of the council members. Some I have not, because I didn't feel like I would get anywhere, but maybe that's wrong of me to not have asked them. I know that you have, through an email, you've offered to sit down with all of them.
With all of them.
And that would have included me as well, one at a time.
Sure.
There's
Or
only
if two of them wanted to sit down and didn't want me in the meeting, I'd step out.
and there's only two council members who have taken me up on the invitation to sit down with me. That's you
Yep.
and you.
Yeah, and actually done it, but now you got Miss Green and Miss Brewer who said
And
they would.
I hope they do.
They said they would.
And I've also publicly invited any of them to come on here and talk with us. Now, Miss Teresa Green did indicate she would be willing to sit down with me, but not on your camera thing.
Oh,
And
So-
that's fine.
And that's fine.
yeah.
We won't have any cameras rolling.
There you
So,
go.
Right. So
Yeah.
just want to correct that, or I don't know if it's correcting the record, but stating for the record, I have asked for meetings with people, and I have not been taken up on that. You have asked for meetings, you have not been taken up on your request until recently. So for those statements to have been read the way that they were, I would suggest that they take their sentiments in those statements to the people who aren't taking the meetings and who aren't getting involved. That's where their speeches need to be directed to. I understand why they did it there, so they didn't out anyone in particular. Did feel like a lot of it was directed towards us, and that's fine.
I do
It's
as
their
well.
right to do that. But now behind the scenes, you need to go to these people that aren't including us in the decision-making process. And I'll leave it on this. For any of you who have any doubts that the mayor has how can I say this? He's not following the ordinances, and he's not following the spirit of the ordinance when he says, and I only have another person's word to go on, but it's not just to have that person's word to go on. It didn't happen. When this other person says, the mayor told me he's not going to talk to you about my nomination, okay? What do I have to back that up? I have you were on speakerphone when it was being discussed, and he didn't contact me regarding
And other council.
and he did talk to other council members about it.
Other council members did indicate that they knew that he was in contention for this seat.
Right, so at some point you got to call it for what it is.
I have a question. Would that not be some sort of discrimination?
Well,
On some level, if nothing
Yeah.
else, on political beliefs and positions.
Right.
yeah.
I don't know that it's necessarily a legality type of discrimination, but he certainly is not doing the best for the citizens. He's not doing for the people that are listening to this.
So I'm going to ask you directly something, okay?
Go for
If
it.
the mayor had actually lived up to the spirit of the ordinance where it says that he's supposed to appoint someone with the advice and consent of the council and reached out to you about the individual's name who he put forward, would you have informed him then that that individual was ineligible due to 3
Yeah.
felony convictions?
You
I would
probably
have had to.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
that's your
if-
duty,
At
right?
that point, yes. At that point, I opened myself
Yeah.
up to the criticism that some people incorrectly have thrown at us.
Yeah.
Yes, I
by
would have.
By
But
the
again,
mayor's refusal to include you in the discussion, this individual had his name put forward and was publicly embarrassed, and that could have all been avoided. People say it could have been avoided by you being proactive and contacting the mayor, but as you have already demonstrated since then, that when you contacted the mayor about another rumor, the mayor criticized you, stating that City Hall deals in facts, not rumors.
yeah.
And you have
Bottom
that
line is,
email.
he's the mayor. It's his full-time job. He should be consulting us. He gets paid a wage throughout the year. I'm spending already many hours a week.
You are.
I would bet more
And
than
you
the entire
Louie.
council combined. Yeah, and I'm not looking for a pat on the back. What I'm looking for is recognition that what we're doing is
Is
for the right
right.
reason.
Right.
That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And some of the comments and the flack that we got over that meeting on the 4th,
The fourth.
those comments were misinformed, and they were not fair, and it was the mayor's responsibility. And then when it gets back to me again that he's not going to include me, now you know his motive.
But people are, another thing I want to address that we did not address in this episode so far, and I know we've been on the clock here for a little while, then we'll do this briefly. You had put forth a name previously for a person who worked for you in your restaurant, who a previous mayor appointed to the city council. That person got your vote whenever the mayor put their name forward.
This was 2 mayors ago. I was not aware that person had a felony.
Yep.
Oh, right.
I was aware that they were in drug court, but not all drug offenses are felonies. I was not aware of the law. I didn't become aware of the law until Ryan Curtis
Right.
informed me of that law and other laws. When he was running for mayor, we sat down and had long conversations about things, and
Right.
he's like, "Did you know this? Did you know that?" He's pretty well informed.
He is.
Yeah.
And so that's when I became aware of that law.
Yep.
I became aware of the Open Meetings Act through a meeting with Ryan Curtis and how that operates. And there's still to this day, even according to one of the council members after last week's meeting who did sit down and look at that documentation, said that it appeared that it had been violated.
Yep.
We'll let the Attorney General's office decide for sure.
Yep.
I'm learning. I'm not perfect. I didn't know. I didn't know
Right.
the law. I do now, and I just would have assumed that a mayor would. A mayor's sitting in
But-
there most of the day, and he has the ordinances at his disposal.
But because you made this faux pas in the past, but by putting forth a person's name who it turned out years later you found out that person had a felony record, that is part of the reason that you have asked the mayor to ask the council to put forth an ordinance to require the mayor to do a background check so that we never have this situation again. Not only have you done that, but we have also reached out to state government leaders and asking them to change the statute. The statute currently states that a person with a felony is ineligible to hold the office, but we want them to strengthen that by requiring any appointing persons, a mayor, city manager, whatever, to do a background check to make sure that a violation of law doesn't occur. Because what would have happened if this person was set,
it would have been all for nothing.
It would have to go through the courts to get him off the.
Oh my.
Yeah, so the citizens would have to file suit to get him off the council.
And humiliation.
Further humiliation and further money spent. And
I don't know. You may be right. I don't know if that's accurate. I think the council could vote them off if they're ineligible. So I don't know that that's 100% accurate.
What did the attorney? What did he say that night?
He said that he didn't really know. He'd have to look into it. He wasn't up to speed on it.
Okay.
But they have come back since then and said.
Yeah.
Okay.
The mayor and the attorney have said that he is the person is ineligible with that. And again, has just got to stress that it has nothing to do with the individual. It has to do with the law.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that was my wrap up.
It's exactly. I mean, there's certain things. Then there's certain laws I disagree with. One of them is, for example, a felon isn't allowed. I carry a firearm everywhere I go, except where it's prohibited. Like I don't carry it into the city hall. Sure. Okay, but I'm not a felon. A felon can't carry a firearm. I personally disagree with that because the Second Amendment. I'm a Second Amendment absolutist. So, but the law is what the law is, and until it is changed or overruled by the Supreme Court or a federal court, we need to abide by the law.
Right.
And the law in Illinois is, and there's a reason for this law. I don't know if you understand this. As a council member, as an elected alderman or mayor in the state of Illinois, you are considered a conservator of the peace, which is a law enforcement title.
Wow.
You could have, when you were on the council, attended the classroom portion of the Police Training Institute at the police academy.
Oh my gosh.
You were exempt from the physical requirements because you were an elected official, just like a sheriff, and you would have had full law enforcement powers within your jurisdiction, which is the city of Lawrenceville.
Wow.
You take a 40-hour firearms course with the state police as well, and you are a badge-carrying, gun-carrying law enforcement official.
Didn't know that.
So that is why we exempt felons from having that position, because they can't be a law enforcement official.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
I did ask the mayor specifically, and I may have covered this earlier. I don't remember if I covered it in this detail, but I'm going to say this and then I'll be done, hopefully. So when I asked the mayor, why didn't he, again, go back and look at the meeting, the last 22 minutes of the meeting, why didn't he pick one of these two individuals, one of the two Matts, Matt Bruff and Matt Lawson? His first statement was he wanted someone who lived here longer than Mr. Bruff. Even so, my question would be, even with that man's qualifications, which is what our city needs right now, he would know more about running the sewer plant, maybe not the water. I think he would know about the water, although he's not certified. Why in the world would you want someone with knowledge to be on the council? Set aside the fact he's not a lifelong resident, okay? But okay, if the mayor wants to use that rationale, fine. So then I brought up, what about Matt Lawson? He's been here for 23 years. Why not him? I think his response was,
it's my choice.
It's my choice.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't really have anything to say about that. So we had answers for about everything except for one item.
Yes.
And that one item, and I'm going to end with this. When I asked him if he did tell his choice that he was going to consult with the rest of the council, that's when he didn't have an answer. His answer was, I do not recall.
I do not recall.
Okay. So watch it, see if you...
That's the safe answer.
See what your take is on it.
That's the safe answer you give when you're on the stand. I do not recall. It's an unimpeachable answer.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, hey, this is a great conversation. Thanks for coming on.
You guys keep doing what you're doing. I think it's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly.
Well, everybody, thanks for watching The Local Lens, Lawrenceville Unfiltered. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share this on all your social media, leave a lot of comments and like the video. That helps us with the YouTube algorithm so that it gets seen far and wide. Until the next time, we appreciate you. Peace out.
Cool.
All right.
I need